Let's talk about open relationships really quick. I got a client who's going through this. Actually, he went through this. His girlfriend wanted to open their relationship, and I've never worked with someone one-on-one about open relationships. I have my own thoughts, but I'm not here to be on TikTok to tell you what to do and how to live your life. I'm here to just give you some perspective. So take what you want, leave the rest behind. Doesn't really matter. However, majority of men that I know and that I've spoken to do not want an open relationship and would not consider an open relationship. However, 100% of the time I've ever heard about this happening in my life or with other friends, it's always the woman that brings it up. The woman would like to date or would like to experiment or just wants to see how she feels if she meets someone else. And a couple years ago, I had a buddy who got married to a chick, and the chick decided that she wanted to open their relationship a couple years into their marriage. And this guy, very nice guy, I could tell that he didn't want to do it, but he loved this woman so much that he reluctantly said that she could. And she started dating someone else at work who then moved into their house. So you can imagine two guys, husband and wife plus boyfriend, essentially living in the same house. And it was somewhat of an amicable situation. But I watched this guy at work, and everyone kind of knew what was going on. And I watched this guy deteriorate mentally and physically, and he became very emotionally reactive and volatile, obviously with what was going on, right? His wife was sleeping with someone else in their house whenever she wanted or whenever he was at work, because they were on kind of different work schedules. And eventually I left, I moved on with my life. I don't know what happened, but he ended up having a kid with her, not the boyfriend, the husband. And I don't know how they're doing today. It's not my business to put that out there, nor is it my business to judge them. But my 2 cents is that I watched a man emotionally tumble for months and months and months. And I cannot imagine the sort of hell that he was either trying to sleep through or dealing with, and the stress of just knowing that. And I'm not saying that women belong to men in a monogamous relationship. You can live your life however you want. I'm not here to judge. But seeing this guy, one of my friends, tumble in that way really hurt me to the point where I feel for men who go into this situation. And this recent client that just came to me to work through this was explaining this situation. And I have a couple thoughts. Number one, again, my heart goes out to him because I think that it's never the man's idea to open up the relationship, simply because women have a far greater chance of going out to a bar and saying, hey, who wants to come home with me tonight? And getting a bunch of people to raise their hands, whoever it may be, rather than the guy showing up to a bar and be like, hey, who wants to go home with me tonight? And probably not getting the people that he would want to take home. Anyways, if this happens, you need to enact boundaries, and it's best to go into a relationship or to know these kinds of boundaries and protocols before this kind of thing gets brought up. I don't see it being necessarily a bad thing, but if you don't have boundaries and someone takes you for a ride and takes you in this direction, you are going to loathe yourself for some time, much like I've seen these two situations devolve into. And that's not good, because men who set boundaries and have protocols and can walk away tend to be strong, individualized, goal-oriented men who can be the rising tide that lifts all ships. You lift other people up around you. Good men, I think, contribute to a good society. I think they lift children up. I think they lift women up, their teammates, their colleagues, younger people, older people. I think good men really do a lot of good work across the board. And I think that a good man needs to have good boundaries and protocols. In both these situations, I wish I was able to have this conversation earlier with my buddy that I spoke about. And now with my client, we're going to be working on setting some hardcore boundaries and protocols to the point which he's already learned about this. So I would love to know your thoughts on open relationships and how it devalues men mentally and maybe emotionally, probably physically as well. If you've had this experience, please leave a comment, because I'm curious about it. It's not something I would ever entertain or allow, but I know that some people do. And again, I'm not here to judge. Live your life, do what makes you happy. But I'm curious as to the mental effects about what open relationships may cause you or to feel or not to feel. How do you allow that? How do you sleep at night? What are the benefits? Again, not something I'm interested in, but if you have personal experience, I would love to hear your experience, because I'm trying to gain more perspective here. See you guys in the next one.